Hello, calculus students. We are going to continue our knowledge base of limits here. We're going to expand our limits on limits in order to solve some more difficult calculus problems later on. So if you look at number 6 here, we're taking the limit as x approaches 2, and we can try to use direct substitution. And what we end up on the top is 2 cubed minus 8 over 2 to the 4th plus 2 times 2 minus 20. So in the numerator, we get 8 minus 8, so that's 0. In the denominator, we get 16 plus 4, that's 20, minus 20, so we get 0. Okay? And you might think that this is 1, but it's not. Okay, so 0 over 0 is undefined or indeterminate. Indeterminate. Okay? The reason for that is that we can make two arguments. We can say that any number divided by itself is equal to 1, and we can make the second argument 0 divided by anything is equal to 0. So this answer could be 0 or it could be 1. And thus we're not really sure. More importantly, we're taking the limit. And remember, the limit doesn't care about what happens at a value. We only care what happens near a value. Okay? So this doesn't quite work. Similarly, for number 7, if we try direct substitution, you end up with e to the 0 minus 0 minus 1. In the denominator, you get cosine of 0 minus 1. Okay. So cosine of 0 is 1 minus 1, so that's 0. Up here, you end up with 1. This we can ignore, but you end up with e to the 0. That's 1 minus 1, so that's again 0 over 0. That's also indeterminate. Okay. And our last example, the limit as x approaches infinity, and so now what you have is like now what you have is like infinity to the 5th, and then e to the infinity. Well, if you take a very large number and raise it to the 5th power, you still end up with a very large number. And if you take e and raise it to a very large number, you still end up with a very large number. And so you end up with infinity over infinity. And this is also indeterminate because, again, you can make the case that a very large number divided by anything is going to be very large. You can make the case that any number divided by a very large number is going to be 0. And you can also make the case that this is 1. Now keep in mind, infinity is not actually a number, it's just a point that we're approaching. So we're saying that this is a very large number, and this is a very large number, but we don't know which one's bigger. Perhaps the numerator is bigger, perhaps the denominator is bigger. So this is also an indeterminate. Okay. So 0 over 0 and infinity over infinity are indeterminate forms. I'll make a note here that there are 7 different indeterminate forms. Although in this video, we're really only, in this lesson and in this class, we're only going to be concerned with these two. Okay. So I leave you here on a hanging note, on a hanging cliff, because we want to figure out what this is actually equal to. We're going to have to adopt some new